Contemplationist Insight, a Simon Vumbaca podcast.
Hi, Contemplationist. In today's podcast, I would like to discuss with you an observation on how strategy can turn into tragedy, and more importantly, how should we make it back once that happens. This podcast sits in the decisions side of our series. Good planning is essential to success. I'm a great believer, like many, that preparing for all eventualities, every angle and possible outcome is the way to have a fighting chance for a great strategy to succeed. It doesn't matter if what we think is right doesn't work. It doesn't matter if in what walk of life or business the strategy is for. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail and all that jazz. In recent years, however, the higher the stakes and the better the strategy is developed, it has become clear to me that the risk of volatility resides with the implementation of the strategy defined. In other words, it is not much how the strategy is defined per se that will create a variable, but is more how it has been implemented by the human component part of it. As a contemplationist, I had to look further into it. In a sense, strategies exist in a vacuum of abstract thoughts and analysis, and the reality of the highest performers at any level is that they are humans, not operating in a vacuum. They all come to the table with their own set of values and priorities, experience, and so on. Probably that is part of the appeal that AI and other systems model have on our collective imagination. But we, the human component of strategy, for as well trained and experienced as we believe ourselves to be, are still the most likely cause of the different outcome to a strategy. What really separates top 3 athletes of any sport is rarely technique. Yes, of course, cataclysmic unexpected things may happen to derail the strategy. We should simply stop the strategy and suspend it until things are ready to be restarted. Rarely does that happen though. Our tunnel vision to achieve what we start, with a pinch of comfort from the wellness of the strategy, means we do not stop. This is called a tunnel vision effect. In a recent article published by the Journal of Neuroscience, it was stated that attention is the mechanism by which we orient our perception of the visual world, enabling us to efficiently pass and process complex scenes. For example, the sudden onset of a stimulus not only draws focus to a point in space reflected in improved detection of stimuli, but also increase acuity and contrast sensitivity in nearby locations. Importantly, this enhancement extends across the visual field along a 2-dimensional gradient, facilitating the processing of some stimuli over others, in effect organizing the content of visual perception. What it really means, I believe, to us non-neuroscientists, and pardon my vulgarization of the concept, is that when we are focused, we have what is commonly known as a tunnel vision. And our peripheral vision reacts to events rather than process them. When we should stop, we stay focused and continue. In practical terms, this is one of the reasons a common tactic used when one is losing control in a sport or business matter is distraction. Take a tennis game, for example. If a player is heavily losing and it needs to stop, it will go for a break, it will ask for a special timeout or try to recompose itself. The same happens in many other sports or many other walks of life. When you're trained and prepared for it, you understand that stopping and reassessing is the way forward. But in reality, it is very difficult to do so. In essence, We statistically are the likely reason a well-crafted strategy turns into tragedy. And what should have been, well, is no more. That is when all efforts turn to salvaging a situation. A deal becomes unsavory, and the power of no is often overlooked. The power of walking away. In a 2015 article published by Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience, it was stated that pressure raised self-consciousness and anxiety about performing correctly, which increases the attention paid to skill processes and their step-by-step control. For skills that are well learned and proceduralized, attention to task execution at the step-by-step level disrupt the automated function of such skills. Thus, performers may regress to an erratic and inefficient style of execution at the beginner's level. For example, research has shown that expert golfers perform putts better when their attention was drawn away from execution by a secondary task demands or when emphasized putting speed. Choking was diminished by self-consciousness training, which deals with situations that raise self-awareness and self-focusing. Therefore, if tunnel vision exists in any given situation and it is disrupted, the human applied the strategy and is likely to regress to the erratic and inefficient style of execution of a beginner's level expert, thus turning strategy into tragedy. So how to avoid it? Well, as soon as things start changing, and if we trained enough, such as the example of our expert putters, well, we should identify that things are changing. So we should apply the good old time-based approach of slowing down and suspending decision until things have been reassessed. This should get rid of all reactive aspect of the response and keep the strategy on tack, safely away from driving into a tragedy. I've been Simon Vumbaca, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast.